Hello everyone, welcome to Preterist Papers. My name is Patricia Bailey, and this is the 50th discussion in this series, and it's titled, The Song of Moses Foretold the End. You can find this 2-page printable fact sheet at preteristpapers.com. Preterist Papers 1 and 2 are suggested prerequisites for this discussion. In this paper, we compare the Song of Moses of Deuteronomy 32 with the words of Jesus, showing how he saw the Mosaic latter-day prophecy being fulfilled in his own generation. In Revelation 15, the redeemed sing the song in anticipation of the pouring out of the 7 bowls of wrath on those who had so utterly transgressed their covenant with Yahweh. Israel had been instructed to sing the song periodically to remind them of their final tragic end. This would serve an essential purpose. It would be a warning to those who could hear to walk humbly with Yahweh and not follow the crowd to destruction. The discerning few would inevitably be persecuted by the majority, but their vindication was sure. It was the righteous remnant, not the carnal crowd, who would triumph. In Roman numeral 1, Moses outlined the extremity of Israel's wickedness in their latter days as the covenant people. They would take evil to a whole new level, exulting in their affluence and sophistication, forgetful of their Creator, described touchingly as a mother eagle fluttering over her young. Israel would become ungrateful, perverse, faithless, exhibiting the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah, cruel vipers, idolaters, abomination workers, vain. Jesus took up this same theme about 1,500 years later, often echoing Moses' exact words and certainly the same content, indicating they were the terminal generation in their covenant with Yahweh. Jesus stated they were spawn of the devil, unfaithful, murderers, liars, evil serpents, vipers. Jesus' audience in the first century was the evil and adulterous generation spoken of by Moses. They were of the same mind as their ancestors who had killed the prophets, but, even worse, they would kill God's Son and continue their murder and persecution of God's servants up to the coming national judgment ending in AD 70. In Roman numeral 2, both Moses and Jesus highlighted Israel's spiritual blindness. When focus is completely on the material world and the self and getting things, spiritual concerns become uninteresting, irrelevant, remote. With a constant review of the Song of Moses, they should have been well aware of their slide into perversity and their need to cling to their Creator God, but they were not. They couldn't discern their times. In Roman numeral 3, we see the meting out of justice to the enemies of God. Yahweh's holy nature demanded such judgment. Mercy without justice begets the increase and deepening of evil. Moses prophesied Israel would be consumed by catastrophe. They would burn, go hungry, be destroyed, poisoned, bereaved, terrorized, scattered, with no memory left of them. This is justice from the wise judge, executing perfect payment, vengeance. Jesus took up Moses' prophecies, applying them inexorably to his own generation. The current generation was the final insult to their covenant Lord. His Son had now come to throw fire on earth. He would soon bring the day of vengeance. Israel was cursed. Jesus' parable in number 18 was eerily prophetic. The king would, quote, destroy those murderers and burn their city, unquote. This is quite literally what happened. Those who try to argue Jesus was so different and not judgmental like Old Testament Yahweh need to study these passages. The Son was truly one with the Father. In Roman numeral 4, the vengeance exacted on the wicked was vindication for the faithful. In Roman numeral 5, we see how inextricably bound together the inclusion of the Gentiles was to the salvation of Israel. The Jews were anticipating a powerful political Messiah. Would remnant Israel have accepted a crucified, suffering servant Messiah king without the Gentiles? Imagine the insult to their pride when they saw unclean Gentiles thronging to hear Paul's teaching from the scriptures of salvation through Jesus the Christ. These were Israel's holy writings, not the unwashed heathens. Why were the Gentiles receiving the Jewish scriptures with so much comprehension and joy? It would be galling and drive curiosity at the same time. But as Moses stated and Paul echoed, they had to be made jealous by those who were unschooled in the ways of Yahweh. Humility was a requirement to receive the gospel. In summary, although portions of the Song of Moses were fulfilled at various times during Israel's history, the totality was fulfilled in the first century. When else was the Old Covenant relationship so totally severed with the Jews? When else was the inclusion of the Gentiles made so complete? This magnificent piece of prophetic literature is just one of many testaments to the divine inspiration of the Bible. Thank you for listening. Shalom.